and welcome to the Adventure Time Distant Lands panel at San Diego Comic-Con at Home 2021. My name is Bex Taylor-Klaus. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and you may recognize me, you may not. I'm okay either way. You can watch the first 3 Distant Lands specials, BMO, Obsidian, and Together Again, right now on HBO Max. With me today, I have Adam Muto, our executive producer. Say hi.
Hey.
Up next, we have John DiMaggio. You may know him as Jake. He's also in Together Again.
Totally math, dude.
Next, we have Mace Montgomery Miskel. He plays Pep in Wizard City.
Hey.
Next, we have Toks Olagundoye, who plays Dr. Caledonius in Wizard City. And as I said before, I am Bex Taylor-Klaus, and I will be playing Blaine, also in Wizard City. To start with, for Adam, I'm just going to get right into things. In last year's panel, you talked a little bit about what it meant for you to return to this world that has been part of your life for a whole decade. Actually, over a decade now. Can you touch on what it felt like to pick back up with Finn and Jake specifically in Together Again?
Yeah, I feel like as soon as we found out we were getting specials, we wanted to see if there was an opportunity to do something with Finn and Jake, because it was where it was left at the end of the series felt like, okay, we don't want to step on that, but maybe if we just did a special focusing on their friendship and the core relationship, you could tell that we couldn't in the main series. That would also feel special and worth revisiting. So I think as soon as we found out we were doing 4 instead of 3, we set one aside and said, definitely we have to do the Finn and Jake one. And then we got 4. And so the order got a little weird, but I'm happy we were able to get Finn and Jake in there one more time.
Absolutely. Speaking of Jake, John, what was your reaction when you got the call that Jake's journey was continuing in the special? And how long did you have to keep it a secret?
You know, I really don't remember how long I had to keep it a secret, but it was long enough to just be frustrating. I can tell you that. But I mean, the first thing I thought of was just like, hooray for my mortgage. No, I'm kidding. No, listen. The wonderful thing about getting to do what I and we do is to have this work come back to you and be able to have this history with this show, and just it's delightful to be able to tell these stories and to continue these stories. You know, and I've been fortunate enough to have that a couple times in my career, where I've been involved with projects where they keep on living and they keep on coming back to life. And when I found out about this, I was very excited because I love playing Jake. It's been such an amazing experience because of how up and down it was for me. I mean, the highs and the lows all put together. But yeah, I was truly excited, and especially to get to work with everybody again. You know, you develop a relationship with people over the years when you work with them like that, and you know, it's just like, hey, we're putting the band back together, man. So you know, it's like one of those things, you know, and I certainly appreciate it. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had somebody on social media point out how much I sobbed at the last Adventure Time panel when they played, the song at the end of the series, and I was bawling, and that's just not fair. I don't want to be remembered for that. I'd like to change that with this particular panel. I'm not going to cry or anything, so just knock that out of the way. But I was truly excited getting back to it.
You get a nice panel do-over now.
Exactly.
So Together Again picks up quite some time after the original series finale and your subsequent tiers. And while we got a tease of what older Finn had been up to in Obsidian, what kind of adventures do you imagine the duo went on prior to the events of the special?
Well, I mean, considering that it's called Together Again, I'm assuming that they really didn't get to do many things as a duo. I think they kind of went out and did their own thing and, took a break from each other. Like sometimes this is a healthy thing to do within a relationship. But, I'm thinking, I don't know, Jake probably got into a lot of everything burritos. But I also think that he probably, listen, I thought about it. I was like, wow, what do you think? Who knows? Maybe he hung out with his kids and maybe he's got grandkids now. I don't know, Adam, what do you think? Could that be a spinoff? Or you could take it down that road, like making it kind of an All in the Family-esque kind of a thing, but with Lady Rainicorn. I also just want to work with Nikki Yang again. I mean, come on, who doesn't? She lives in my neighborhood, by the way, which is awesome. I'm walking my dog and I'm like, Nikki, wait a minute. She's walking around with her kid and the dog. And I'm like, it's Nick. It's wow. So Jake and Lady Rainicorn actually live in the same neighborhood, which is kind of ridiculous. But, I really don't know. It's just always fun to think about those things. And I don't know, Adam, seriously, it's a good idea. Why not? Come on.
No, I mean, by the end, they had such expansive lives that we kind of wanted to leave space for people to imagine what happened.
See, why not turn Jake the dog into a little bit of an Archie Bunker and let him at it with all the kids and the grandkids.
Yeah, anyway, he has a dynasty. I thought about it.
Wait, so Jake the dog is JR in Dynasty? Is that what we're saying now? We're gonna do a Dynasty type spinoff with the family. Whatever. Listen, it's all I just let it fly. Let the fan theories fly.
Yeah, stream. We can pitch everything, basically.
Exactly.
Endless content. That's what we're shooting for.
Exactly.
So, Adam, Together Again features a lot of returning fan favorite characters like LSP, Tree Trunks, Tiffany, Mr. Fox, and even pause for spoilers. Pause and mute right now. The biggest bad of them all, the Lich, is back. Why were these characters necessary to conclude Finn and Jake's journey? And were there any characters who did not appear that you thought about including?
I mean, that was kind of a tricky balance because where it takes place, that the characters are dead. So it felt like the more you showed, the more you were kind of confirming, that character died. But it was supposed to be many years later, too. I can't remember if there were many that didn't make the cut. I think maybe Billy we thought about including in some way. But all the other characters were so long-lived that, they outlive Finn and Jake. So it's kind of hard to have like Princess Bubblegum or Marceline or even Ice King, really. So I think the only one that we kind of had some debate about was whether Tree Trunk's alien husband would be in the afterlife or not. Like, do aliens go to this afterlife or do they go to a different afterlife? But other than that, I think who was in there was basically who we imagined would be in there. And it would be nice to see again, especially like their parents. Like that was the one big thing, like getting to see Joshua and Margaret again, because they'd never been on screen except in flashbacks together. So that was nice.
That's fantastic. That's a whole new exploration. I love that. Well, for Adam and for John this time, do you think the special truly marked the end of Finn and Jake's story? Or do you think there's the potential you might once again revisit the characters someday?
Listen, anything is possible. I've seen so many shows come back to life because somebody found a way to tell more stories. It wouldn't surprise me, especially with the creative team of this show. So, I mean, and, as long as there's a demand for these characters and the storylines and the world of, in the land of Ooh, anything is possible. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. But Adam is he's a higher up. He's my boss. So yeah. I will defer to whatever Adam says.
I think especially now, it's just whether somebody finds a different angle on a franchise or a group of characters. It feels like there's never an ending necessarily, which is heartening and kind of scary at the same time, is that they just keep going in some form or another. But I do want to be careful not to step on the episodes we've done before. So I think there is a desire to not do something just to do it, but like find a different angle on it. And that's kind of what these specials were to begin with.
I mean, let's hold on a second. I got something here.
What's he got?
Okay. This is actually in my office here. This is something that I picked up at a record of Adventure Time. I can't remember when, but it was a Penn Ward original, and I had to have it. I want Penn to make a show about this guy, and I want to voice him. He's all butt. It's pretty funny, but this is the kind of wacky stuff that would happen at records. Like this piece of paper is the back of a script, and he was just doodling, and I was like, I want that pen. Can I have that? He was just like, oh yeah, I mean, why? Sure, go ahead, take it. I had him. Yeah, I want to show with that guy. I want that guy to wrestle with Jake. That's what I want. All out wrestling match.
That guy should show up anew.
No, absolutely. I totally believe that.
I think a version of that guy shows up in almost every Penn show.
Yeah, see, there it is. I mean, but that's the thing. There's so many avenues for this show. There's so many avenues. That's the potential that it has. It still has. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the avenues, we've talked a lot about things we've already seen. Now let's shift our focus to the future a bit and talk about the upcoming special, Wizard City. So,
that was the best segue ever, by the way. That was the best segue ever. Bex.
I felt really good about it.
Nice job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, Adam, how did you decide to focus this latest special around a young Peppermint Butler? Tell us more about the characters going to wizard school and the mysteries and the mysterious goings-on at the wizarding school itself.
Well, a lot of that came from just the opportunities that were opened up at the end of the series, because where we left Peppermint Butler at the end of the series, he was kind of restarting. And Finn and Jake had kind of gotten older, so it was like, could we tell a story with this younger, closer to a 10-year-old character? And what would his story be that would be way different than Finn and Jake? And so that was kind of the avenue. And nobody's ever done anything about a wizard school. So we thought, that would be cool. Let's do this. I'm sorry. But it's also an area we hadn't been to before. We hadn't gone to Wizard City a whole lot. We just a couple episodes. So it was a chance to explore kind of the lore of that place and just see more of it.
Did you ever go to Magician Town?
It's Wizard City.
No, it's Wizard City. Magician Town is not a district in Wizard City.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
It does. So Mace, welcome. Welcome to your first panel. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I don't know. It's just a really cool opportunity, and it's my first one, so I'm a little nervous, but it's just all cool because all you guys are really nice, and it's fun to be here. So
it's great to have you here. So you're playing Peppermint Butler, but you're new to the franchise. So how much did you know about the Adventure Time world going in, and what was your favorite part about the experience?
So I'm 11, so it wasn't totally around when I was little, but before I auditioned and everything, I looked up clips, I looked up everything I could to find and try to connect with the character as much as I could. So it was cool to be able to I get the job, and then it's cool going on set and in the studio and recording over Zoom. It's really cool.
Did you get to record in person with anyone, or was it all over Zoom?
Well, I did go to a studio. It's really close to my house, actually. And there's a guy his name is John. Hi, John. What's up? Anyways, we went there, and then over Zoom, he helped me set up everything. And over Zoom, I did the voiceover, and yeah.
That's really fun. What was it like to step into the shoes of Steve Little, Pep Butt's original voice actor and co-star in the special? Did he get
it was a great feeling. it's just cool to be able to like see someone else do something that's really cool and then be able to follow up and do something different in their shoes. It's a really cool experience. It's really fun for me and all of my parents, my family, they all encourage me, and it's cool to be able to step in the shoes. I'm just saying the same thing over and over again, I know. So yeah, it was just really fun, and I would do it again.
Did you get any advice from Steve on Peppermint Butler and how to do it?
Well, that would have been a great idea, but no, unfortunately not. So yeah, I based all of what I did off of clips, off of stuff I could find, maybe YouTube videos, maybe trying to get my streaming channels to be able to play the old shows. But it was really fun learning and watching show, because the show is really good anyway, so it's fun to watch it and then learn and be able to apply that to when I'm doing the voiceover. So
I love it.
Yeah.
You did a great job, especially for doing that on your own.
Let's give it up for Mace. Come on, let's give it up for Mace. There you go. That's right.
Thank you.
Good kid. You did a good job.
You did great. It would have been awesome to have everybody in the same room, but a lot of this one was recorded in like the depths of checking audio settings. I was like, is this working? Is this working? Is this
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. So there were unique challenges to this one, especially because, I think we started recording this one right at the beginning of the lockdown stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mace did great. He very much made it his own version of the character, which was good because he didn't need to hear from Steve. Steve plays so many characters. It's like, Steve does his thing, and then Mace kind of, redefine what a young Peppermint Butler would be.
Fabulous. Well, Toks, you play kind of a mentor to young Pep. What was your experience like stepping into the Adventure Time world?
I always get a little anxious when I step into a show that is well loved, has been around for a while, because I just don't want to mess it up for anyone. It's a little easier when you start from the very beginning of something and everyone can grow with you. But when it's a well loved franchise or, television show or animated show or something, it's sort of like, I've done this a few times now where I've come in later on a show or taken over a role from someone else or rebooted something. And every time I get the job and I'm like, oh, cool, I've got a job. Yay. And then about halfway through, I'm like, oh no, this means a lot to a lot of people. Maybe I shouldn't be entrusted with this. But I just try to listen to the direction, trust the really good writing, and have fun, which I very much did on this one.
Were you familiar beforehand with Peppermint Butler's story?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't, which I find I usually don't know what's going on in general. So I tend to walk into shows where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know any of you or anything, which I think in the long run actually helps me because I'm able to sort of communicate with the characters in a way that is honest to the moment, especially if they're new to one another. So I don't have any preconceived notions. But I am looking forward to going back and watching everything, which should be in about 16 years because I have a 1.5-year-old.
It'll take a minute.
Yeah.
You've gotten to voice some absolutely fabulous characters over the year. What about Dr. Caledonius stands out to you?
So this is an interesting thing to say. So there's something about her that I find really wacky and wonderful. Like there's this energy that she has that I think is really effervescent. So I would get a little carried away sometimes in my records and I would have to pull it back. So that was a really interesting challenge with this one, was getting like really like overly excited and making her sound a little bit nuts and then being like, okay, gotta pull it back a little bit. But it was a lot of fun.
That sounds like so much fun, especially like doing it on Zoom and being alone for that.
Yeah, I was. I converted one of my bathrooms into a recording studio, and I couldn't turn the light on because then the fan would start going. So I literally was just in the dark, like, which I think maybe added to some of that wackiness. So it's like I'm in the dark, I can do anything, So I think I got carried away with it. But
that's really funny.
That's why we have fantastic directors so that they can like bring you back in,
rein it in. Speaking of reining it in, Adam, I heard you might have something to show us, a certain piece of key art, perhaps?
Oh, yes. I would like to premiere the first viewing of the key art by Joy Ang for Wizard City. There it is.
Mace, Toks, John, Adam, thank you so much for being part of this panel. And everybody at home, thank you for joining us for today's Adventure Time Distant Lands panel at San Diego Comic-Con at home. And make sure to go check out the first 3 Adventure Time Distant Lands specials right now on HBO Max. And be on the lookout for Wizard City streaming later this year.